We continue our series of conversations on the women's vote with political psychologist Martha Burke. Martha is the author of Your Voice, Your Vote, The Savvy Women's Guide to Power, Politics, and the Change We Need. We're talking about wedge issues this week, and in your book, Martha, you call them bait and switch issues. Explain that a little bit more. How does an issue become a wedge issue? What are the dynamics that are at play there?
Well, it's playing to the base, of course, particularly the conservative base. And it's a wedge issue because people tend to have very Procrustean opinions. They're written in stone, so to speak. You are either pro-choice or you are pro-life, as the vernacular goes. You're either for gun control or you're not for gun control. You're either for building a fence against the immigrants or you're for making some kind of accommodation. So those are wedge issues. But there are also bait and switch issues in this way. Think about this, Gene. How many times have you heard politicians talk about flag burning? A lot. They're going to do a constitutional amendment against flag burning, right? Once the election's over, do you ever hear that?
That's a good point.
You ever hear a bill on the Capitol Hill, we're going to ban flag burning? No. So it's a way to get people riled up with really no intention of doing much about it once they get in Congress. Abortion is pretty much the exception of late years because we've had a lot of legislation that's anti-abortion, but we've had none on gun control.
That's a good point. Let's take abortion on there for a quick second. It's been around for a lot of years. Certainly Roe versus Wade was many years ago. Can it still be considered a wedge issue, even though I think most folks have come to a conclusion about how they feel about abortion?
Actually, it's interesting, Gene. Opinions change, and I think partly with technology. I think now that we have the fetal scans and that sort of thing, it has changed some. Most people now, the vast majority of people, do not want abortion to be illegal.
The polling has showed that.
Yeah, the polls show it. I want to be clear on that. Where they disagree is where do you draw the line on some restrictions? Example, parental consent. Should kids have to get parental consent? Some people say absolutely, others say no. It's going to send them to the back alleys because these kids are not going to go to their parents, some of them. What if it's a rape or incest situation? So those kinds of things people disagree on. But when a politician tells you, and as the Republican platform does this year, we want a constitutional amendment to ban abortion, no exceptions. Take my word for it, take the pollsters' word for it. The public is not with them on that.
How about on same-sex marriage? Where's the public there? Can that still be considered a wedge issue? Again, same sort of premise. Have we all come to our own personal conclusions about this? We can't be moved one way or the other?
No, we're moving on that. We're definitely moving on that since '08. In the '08 elections, slightly less than half the people thought same-sex marriage should be legalized. That's moved. Now, more than half, approaching 60% of women, slightly less for men, but people are softening on that issue. They're saying, what's the big deal? You know, it's not really so much about marriage as it is federal benefits. The Defense of Marriage Act, which did get passed, says that the federal government only recognizes men and women as married. That affects your things like Social Security, things like inheritance taxes. So that's important.
You know, when you think about that, I want to stay on that topic for just a quick second. It seems to me there was you think about years ago, it was a gay male issue. You talked about marriage. All the news reports always showed men.
Yes.
And then we had a little bit of a turn where you showed a lot of lesbian couples getting, and my sense of it was public opinion at that point started to turn just a little bit. Would you agree with that? Once we saw women being expressed as wanting this to happen in their lives?
I don't know, Gene, but it's a good point that you bring up. And here's why. I think still in this culture, unfortunately, and I have two sons, so I know what they hear, what they see in school and otherwise. Men are brought up to be homophobic in this society. And it is homophobic against other men, primarily. I don't think they worry so much about lesbian women. Now, I may have some lesbian friends that would disagree on that. I know that lesbian bashing, for example, in the military, which we've talked about, is still rampant. But I do think that that could have been a factor. I think also people are just thinking more about it and thinking, well, what's the big deal? More people are coming out as gay or lesbian. Everybody's got a friend, acquaintance, relative that is gay, and they found out they're not going to die of that.
Right, right. Makes a big difference when you can personalize an issue, isn't it? It's interesting.
Yes.
Gun control. I got to throw this on the table because it's interesting to think about. You don't think of that necessarily as a woman's issue, gun control. In fact, gun control as an issue has not been around in our public, debate system for a little bit now. It was huge in the 90s and such. Where does that fall for women, and how does that express itself at the voting booth, gun control?
Well, it doesn't express itself very much at the voting booth for women or men. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's way down on the list of concerns, especially in an economy like this. I mean, people in the abstract, they either want it or don't want it, but most of them don't vote on it. Less than 1% vote that issue. Where does it differ, though, for women and men? It differs in this way. Women see guns getting raped at gunpoint. Men see it as hunting, cleaning up Dodge, all of the stereotypical things. Women also worry a lot more, according to polls, about mass shootings, about their kids getting shot at school. We just had those recently in the news. Women worry a lot more about that, and they think differently about it. They think it's something systemic in society, whereas men tend to say, oh, these are just isolated incidents. They're not related to anything that's going on in the law or the culture.
Interesting. I love these segments. We get a lot of great feedback. I want to see you again soon.
Thanks, Gene.
Absolutely,
good to be
Martha.
here.
You got it.